5 WWE conspiracy theories that will leave you thinking. Conspiracies have always existed, not only in the realm of WWE, but in absolutely everything, like Michael Jackson being alive, Hitler never dying, and many other things. However, WWE theories have become quite shocking since they take as fact topics that really deserve a lot of seriousness. Well, for now, I'll stop talking quickly, and today I will present to you 5 WWE conspiracy theories that will leave you thinking. Number 5. The Ultimate Warrior's accident. At the beginning of the 1990s, the Ultimate Warrior was WWE's biggest star after Hulk Hogan, to the extent that Vince McMahon decided to have both superstars face off in the main event of WrestleMania 6 in Toronto. His wife recalls how excited he was when Warrior found out he would defeat Hogan, and how, for weeks, he was nervous leading up to the big day. However, all this glory would come to an end in 1991 when, according to Warrior, he left WWE. Rumors began circulating in the small online wrestling community of that era. Some journalists sold faxes and letters spreading various rumors about WWE and the wrestling industry. One of those rumors claimed that the Ultimate Warrior had actually died in a car accident that same year, and that's why WWE removed him from television. According to this theory, WWE secretly sought a replacement to take Warrior's place. When the wrestler returned to the company in 1992, many believed he was no longer the same. It was speculated that he was actually being portrayed by Kerry Von Erich. The rumors intensified when Vince McMahon claimed he had fired Warrior in 1991, while others recalled that Warrior himself had stated he chose to leave the company. People noticed inconsistencies in their stories. However, this remains just a theory, and for many, the real Ultimate Warrior passed away in 2014. Number 4. Shawn Michaels' fake injury. It is said that when things go wrong in WWE, Vince McMahon changes plans without concern for who is affected. According to rumors, WWE was struggling in 1997, and Shawn Michaels was the champion. Vince wanted to put the title back on Sid Vicious, so the plan was for Michaels to lose the championship to Sid on Raw to set up a match between The Undertaker and Sid at WrestleMania 13. The idea was also for Shawn to then face Bret Hart in the WrestleMania main event, and of course, lose to him, setting up Bret Hart's heel turn. Shawn was not thrilled about losing the championship and doing 2 high-profile jobs in a row. While he did have a legitimate knee injury, it's worth noting that Michaels and Stone Cold were undergoing rehabilitation at the same time. However, no one really knew the severity of the injury. Shawn's version is that he saw a doctor who told him his career was over and that he had to stop wrestling. This led to Shawn vacating the title in an emotional speech on RAW in February 1997, where he spoke about his injury. Skeptical fans, however, believed he simply didn't want to lose the title to Sid and then to Bret, so he used a real but not severe injury as an excuse to avoid competing. As an additional note, many pointed out that Michaels had also vacated the Intercontinental Championship in late 1995, supposedly due to injuries sustained in a nightclub altercation. This further fueled speculation that Michaels had a habit of relinquishing titles to avoid losing them. By late March, he was already involved in physical altercations in the ring. In fact, in April, he performed a backflip off the top rope, which only strengthened speculation that his injury wasn't as serious as claimed. According to Michaels, he later saw another doctor specializing in sports medicine who told him he had seen similar injuries in athletes and that they could be rehabilitated without surgery. That, he claimed, was why he was able to return to wrestling so easily. I'll let you be the judge. Number 3. Eddie Guerrero is alive. Wow. Among all the things I read as a kid in the cyber cafes of my city, I remember this theory perfectly. A theory that truly blew my mind. I was around 10 years old, and Eddie had passed away less than a year earlier. Reading that he was alive and that everything was a lie deeply shocked me. In WWE and wrestling forums, rumors circulated, along with supposed proof, that Eddie had not actually died when WWE claimed he did. On November 13, 2005, WWE superstar Eddie Guerrero was reported to have passed away. However, some fans claimed that Eddie was still alive and that it was Vince McMahon's idea for him to fake his death and return years later. The supposed return was ultimately canceled, and Eddie has remained in hiding ever since under a different identity. These are some of the key points raised in the Kenny Casanova forum to support this theory. 1. The funeral was private, attended by only a few dozen family members and friends, all of whom were directly connected to the wrestling industry. The service was officiated by superstar Billy Graham, another wrestler, and someone not believed to have been particularly close to Guerrero. 2. Tribute merchandise was available for sale on WWE's website the very next day. something that typically takes at least a week or more when a wrestler unexpectedly passes away. 3. Eddie Guerrero was mentioned in WWE storylines for months after his supposed death. When other wrestlers pass away, WWE usually only acknowledges them briefly, and when they are mentioned later, it is always with respect. Notably, even Randy Orton once said that Eddie was in hell. How could WWE convince Eddie's wife, Vicky Guerrero, and his other family members to accept such disrespectful storylines? Unless they knew Eddie was actually alive? 4. There is a famous incident where Eddie faked a heart attack in the ring. Some believe this was the originally planned fake death. But because Eddie didn't make it look convincing enough, WWE supposedly decided to redo it months later. 5. Before his death, Eddie Guerrero's book and DVD were titled Cheating Death. Bringing Eddie Guerrero back after deceiving even mainstream media would have been highly controversial, but would have generated global headlines. However, after the Benoit tragedy, WWE reportedly scrapped the plan entirely and ensured Eddie Guerrero assumed a new identity and moved far away from the United States. Wow, this really made me think a lot when I was a kid. Does it make you think too? Number 2. The Two Kanes. Another major internet rumor claimed that the masked Kane was not the same as the unmasked Kane. Many fans tried to spot differences in his height, body, and even his in-ring movements. However, this was finally debunked when, in an exclusive WWE Network show, unseen backstage footage was shown, confirming that Kane was indeed the same person both with and without the mask. Number 1. The Benoit Tragedy. The Benoit family tragedy remains one of the most haunting events in wrestling history, especially for WWE. Over the years, theories have emerged suggesting that Benoit never actually committed the crime. Supporters of this theory argue that Benoit had been telling people for months that unidentified cars were following him on his way home. He was so concerned that he often took detours or longer routes to avoid being followed. He had mentioned this to his wife, Nancy, and also to Chavo Guerrero. On the day of his death, the messages Benoit sent to Chavo Guerrero also raised suspicion. He wrote that he needed help because the dogs were in the garage and the garage door had been left open, suggesting that someone else had been with them that night. Additionally, Benoit called Chavo and said he heard noises coming from his pool and backyard, further fueling the belief that someone had malicious intentions toward the Benoit family that night. However, this will forever remain just another theory about this tragic and horrifying case.
Yeah.